The Gujarat Titans versus the Punjab Kings match is every reason why we love live sport. It had absolutely everything in it, straight out of a Bollywood movie. It had all the action, all the drama, all the emotions, a fantastic finish, some dropped catches, some spectacularly taken catches, some bad decisions by the umpires, some good decisions by the umpire. So you want it, and it had it all. And it just goes to show in sport, until the last ball or the last run is scored, or in cricket, I must say, not in sport, in cricket, until the last ball is bowled, the last wicket taken, or the last run is scored, it's never over until it's over. Sarvesh, have you caught your breath after that spine tingling finish?
I thought it would be another one-sided game, but I was wrong. I was doing the numbers and I saw that average winning score here batting first is 192 point something, somewhere around 192 to 193, and GT actually got 199. I felt maybe that's enough given the kind of issues that Punjab had and the kind of bowling resources GT have in the middle overs. But I was wrong. I mean, look at them. Shashank Singh, Ashutosh Sharma. I mean, nobody expected this, and all the big guns from the top they could not do the job. But these guys, wow! I mean, what a game!
Yeah, I mean, we'll come to those and we'll talk a lot about both of those guys. But before that, a quick look at the scorecard. As you can see, GT 199 for 4 in their 20 overs. In reply, Punjab Kings getting there with one ball to spare and 3 wickets in hand. For GT, Shubman Gill 89 not out of 48 balls. Now, just to quickly talk about Shubman Gill, fourth game this season, but he hadn't really checked in until now. I mean, yes, the IPL is probably the most franchise tournament, important franchise tournament in the world, one of the biggest and most expensive tournaments in the world. But I guess for people who are auditioning for that T20 World Cup, this is a very important tournament for the likes of Shubman Gill, because there are still some question marks around there. So it was important for him to check in at this juncture, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and he was under pressure. He could not deliver in first three games, and these things happen. He's still young. He just got the captaincy. He hasn't got any experience of captaining the side. If you remember, in that under 19 World Cup, he wasn't a captain. Domestic as well, he is not captaining. Ruturaj Gaikwad was another new captain, but he has that experience of captaining Maharashtra at domestic level. But Shubman Gill, he had no prior experience. So I think that slow start was kind of expected. But you rightly pointed out, Shubman Gill today, he stepped up when it was required. I think when I looked at that middle order from GT, I saw Kane Williamson, then there was Sai Sudarshan, and then there was Vijay Shankar. Now these three guys were there in that middle order, so somebody had to keep the run flow coming, and that responsibility was on Shubman Gill once Vidyaman Shah got out. So from that overall perspective, he stayed there till the end, and he kept that scoreboard going. And 89 from 48, it's a very good return.
Yeah, I mean, to put some context into the team selections for GT, obviously David Miller not playing today. I mean, it just shows you the kind of effect that David Miller
Yeah.
has had on this team over the years. That as soon as he's not available for a game, it kind of puts a spanner in the works for them completely.
Yeah.
Kane Williamson, look, he's a Kiwi, and that's why I love him. And he's one of the finest batters to have come out of New Zealand ever. But if you were to pick one suit in his armory, which his skills are not the best at, it would probably be in that T20 cricket zone. Um, it- in in that, it makes it very important, like you said, that someone had to kind of take the bull by the horns and make sure they got a decent score on the board, and Shubman did just that. I was also very surprised, and I tweeted about this at the time, that in a T20 innings, when a batter bats right through from ball number 1 to over number 20, there are 120 deliveries. You would expect them to play at least about 50, 60 of those deliveries, because
Yeah.
of the half of the available deliveries. But it's so important that they do that, because in today's scenario, you see that he played only 48, which
Yeah.
means he played 12 less balls than what he should have. and the strike rate that he was going at was phenomenal. So it actually, in effect, if he had managed to play those extra 12 balls, we'd probably see a score of somewhere in that 220 zone, would
Yeah,
we?
yeah, exactly. I mean, let's do the math. Remove those six deliveries from Kane Williamson's account. Remove those six deliveries from somebody else's Vijay Shankar's account, and then add those to Shubman Gill's account, and then scale that Shubman Gill's 89, and scale that with the current strike rate. So it would he would have probably added how many? 8 overs, 90. So he was going at around 11 and 12 runs, 11 runs per over. So again, if you add two more overs, so that means 22 more runs, right? And you just have to subtract whatever Kane Williamson and Vijay Shankar scored. So probably it would have made a difference of around 12 to 14, 12 to 15. So if you add those 12 runs here, GT would have scored around 211, around 212, and I think that itself becomes a huge total, because that adds that psychological pressure that if you score in excess of 210, then the opponents they have to go from ball number one. So you rightly pointed out he played few lesser number of deliveries, and that I think made the difference in the end.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we talk about stats so much, and it's a game of small margins. But like the great Navjot Singh Sidhu used to say, that if ifs and ands were pots and pans, then there would be no tinkles, which means that statistics and logic and all of that sounds great on paper, but in the middle sometimes doesn't work out the way it should. I'll tell you what else I was impressed about. I was impressed about the way Sai Sudarshan went about his
Yeah,
business today. Because when he came in, there was a great chance of them getting stuck in a rut.
yeah,
And he took the initiative, he took the onus, took the attack to the bowlers, and made sure that that innings kind of didn't remain in third gear. He put it into fourth.
yeah.
And then obviously Subman and Rahul Tewatia in the end put it into fifth in overdrive. Um, he's not that kind of a player though, is he? I mean, he takes his time to get started, and then once his eye is in, he kind of goes after the bowling. So because of the situation, he showed a lot of maturity in actually changing his own game to kind of suit the needs of the team. Would you agree?
I completely agree. So I was actually looking at his scores and his shot selection. I realized that he was actually trying to score at a much better rate today, because he realized that Shuman Gill had to be there till the end. So for that to happen, somebody had to take extra chances and allow Shubman Gill to get through that middle over space. Because had Shubman Gill taken those extra risks, probably he would have gotten out earlier. Probably even 200 would have looked impossible. So I think from that perspective, if you look at Sai Sudarshan's scores, I think he did a fair job. He, like you rightly pointed out, his strike rate was up, and I think he had that intent. He had that particular role given by the team management that he has to score quickly, and I think he managed it pretty well.
Just a quick, if we can jump on to GT's batting card, just to have a quick look at a couple of other people there. Um, the other important factor was when Sai Sudarshan fell and I saw Vijay Shankar come out. Uh, I was a bit surprised because in yesterday's game we saw um, KKR doing it so well that in the 13th over,
Yeah.
when the momentum was with them, they sent out Andre Russell to go and have a go to keep that flow going. But when Sai Sudarshan had done all the hard work and got the innings into kind of fourth gear, scene was perfectly set for somebody like Rahul Tewatia to come out and finish it off. But that Vijay Shankar innings, 8 of 10 balls at that time, also played a massive role in kind of that target
Yeah,
being only 199.
exactly. So this is what I was pointed out at Kane Williamson and Vijay Shankar scores. They played 32 deliveries and they scored 34. So they were just going at just about run a ball. So they scored probably around at 13 runs from those 12 balls. And if you had they given those 12 balls to Shubman Gill, it would have made a lot of difference. So I think also the second point that you mentioned, that Vijay Shankar, instead of him, I think Rahul Tivatia should have come up. I completely agree. I think we spoke about this even last time as well, that why they are keeping Rahul Tivatia just for the last 3-4 overs. I think it's Rahul Tivatia has done enough, and I think he has proved his worth. I think we all know what he can do. Even if he comes up and bats in over number 14 or 15. And I think if they feel that they have to keep Rahul Tewatia down the order, then they probably should look at somebody else and not Vijay Shankar. They probably should look at Abhinav Manohar. He's sitting at the sidelines, and he's somebody who can give them that 180, 190 kind of a strike rate at the back end. So, if you're batting Vijay Shankar at number 5 when you need quick runs, that tactically doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, we know what Vijay Shankar's abilities, but I think at that position it doesn't make a lot of sense. They should probably rethink that and get Abhinav Manoa, or at least get Tivatia up and see how it goes from there. I think this is one clear suggestion.
Even Rashid Khan strikes it
Exactly.
at a fantastic
Yeah.
strike rate. So in that crunch situation, if you do send up Rahul Tewatia and he
Yeah.
doesn't work
Yeah.
out, still got the likes of Rashid Khan to come in and finish.
And when you
Um,
have Shubman Gill playing from one end, then you can even afford to send your bowlers, because Shubman Gill will manage and get the strike back to him and he'll start hitting. So I think this risk they should have taken.
Perfect. Let's have a look at what the bowlers did for Punjab. Now, Harpreet Brar, the bowling machine that he is, continues to kind of impress, because in a game of 10 runs per over, he's gone at about just over 8, picked up a wicket, bowled in the power play, bowled the first over for about 5 runs also. So he continues to impress. Arshdeep had a decent spell as well. But let's talk about Kagiso Rabada again.
Yeah.
Going for runs, and we spoke about this, and we keep speaking about this. That T20, he's not the ideal T20 bowler, because Kagiso Rabada's strength is bowling a
Yeah.
good length and line. And in T20 cricket, normally that travels. We saw the similar story today.
Yeah.
Harshal Patel once again, bowled 3 good overs, and then that last over that he bowled, which went for 20 and plenty, it just seemed to kind of destroy his figures once again. In their, I know one is an overseas fast bowler, one is an Indian fast bowler. Um, is there anybody in the reserves that can kind of?
I think they do have one Indian seamer. I think it's the I forgot his name. He's from Karnataka. I think I remember. I think he has played even last season. I've just forgot his name, but I think they do have somebody who can bowl at good pace, who can bowl in that middle overs and in those early overs. And Harshal Patel, again, you pointed out, he was found out, but I think he bowled the difficult overs. But I was surprised that they decided to bowl Kagiso Rabada. At I think he bowled at 17th or 18th over of the game, and that went for plenty. I think I did not expect him to bowl that over. I expected them to finish his overs before over number 15. I think that was one. I think that's where one of the mistakes that happened from Punjab, that they should have probably bowled his overs earlier. But again, I mean, they look. If you look at Sam Curran, he hasn't been bowling a lot. If you look at Sikandar Raza, it was just his first game, so they probably felt that they needed somebody experienced at the back end. So I think that was the reason they probably went with Kagiso Rabada. But I think he should have finished a lot earlier. And Harsha Patel, the issues they just continue with him. I mean, this is not the reason that they spent so much on him. They expected him to control that and later phase of the game, but somehow it's not happening.
So we've got two options in the overseas fast bowling. We've
Yeah.
got Nathan Ellis
Yeah.
and Chris Woke sitting around.
Yeah.
So there could be a chance that one of them gets a go. Woke's obviously the all-rounder. But then you've also got, as you rightly pointed out, Mr. Kavirappa
Kavirappa.
sitting there.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's his name. He's in
and
the central contract list of the bowlers. So he's
yeah,
capable. We know that he's capable.
yeah, and I've got a lot of time for Indian fast bowlers this IPL. Just seeing Mayank Yadav and Vijay Kumar Vishak and Harshit Rana and all these guys, doing so well. So yeah, I'd be very happy to see Kavirappa being given a chance as well to
Yeah.
show what he's made of. Um, right, let's talk about these run chase now. If we can have the Punjab Kings innings,
Yeah.
everything was in the doldrums. They lost Shikhar Dhawan in the very first over.
Yeah.
Bairstow always scores 20 and then decides he needs to get going,
Yeah.
because that's what he's done all throughout that test series with England, all 5 test matches.
Yeah.
And he's done this exactly the same thing again, all of the IPL games that he's played on. Gets a start, but then gets out.
Yeah.
Prabh Simran looked really good while he was there and looked like he was taking the initiative. But then once they lost those wickets, especially at the time when the wicket of Sikandar Raza fell, the innings was in absolute shambles.
Yeah.
And uh, there was no way they were going to win this game from there, was there?
Exactly. After Shikhar Dhawan's wicket, I think Prabsimran, he did a fair job there. He had to keep going. He scored those boundaries against Rashid. He tried to take on Noor. I think he was just doing his job. He was just being selfless. I think courage to him, because we don't. He's when somebody new comes up in that starting 11, you sometimes tend to see that tentativeness. But I think now he's playing consistently for the second season in a row. So I think he knows his job, and I think he was just doing that. He played a fair hand there at the top, but after once he was gone, I saw Sam Curran was struggling a lot, 5 from 8, and he was not picking Rashid and or Noor. So I think that was not a great call to send him up, because just because you are left-handed, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You also have that. You should also have that capability to pick those spinners from their hands. That was not happening with him. Sikandar Raza, just about run a ball, but I think the real fight back started after that. Shashank Singh, even I think Jitesh Sharma, in the end, he when he took on, I think he took on Rashid, right? I think it was over
Yep,
number 16 or 17. I think it was over number 16. I think I don't remember it.
16, I think.
16,
Yep,
yeah.
yep,
I think
yep.
that started that onslaught, and I think that's where I think they probably should have felt that, okay, we are in the game and we can do this. So I think Jitesh Sharma, I will also like to give some credit to him, and then Ashutosh Sharma, nobody knew nobody knew about him, and what he could do, but now we know he can take on Mohit Sharma. He can hit those sixes against him. His technique against Mohit Sharma was brilliant. He was going way back in the crease. He was expecting those slow deliveries, those slow bounces, and he was just looking to clear his front leg and look to heave those on the leg side. I think it was a good technique, good strategy against Mohit Sharma.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw from 111 for 5 in the 13th over till the end was just phenomenal stuff.
Yeah,
Shashank Singh, what a story. We have already discussed about him. Was he the right man that they picked? Was he the wrong man that they picked? And then you confirmed that definitely he's got the better credentials amongst
yeah,
the Shashank Singhs playing cricket.
yeah,
So he was the right guy to be picked. We saw a couple of glimpses of him throughout this tournament where he came in and he kind of hit some good sixes and good shots. But 61 of 29 deliveries at a strike rate of 210 is the stuff that dreams are made of. This is could be,
yeah.
and I say could be only because he's got to back it up with some other consistent performances. But this could be the start of something really, really special for him.
Yes, if you remember, they relied on Shah Rukh Khan to do this job earlier. But last season, they did not retain him, and they went to auction and buy somebody else for that finisher's role. So they
I think
bought.
he's in GT. He's actually in
Yeah,
GT. Shah Rukh Khan is in
yeah,
GT.
yeah. But I think Punjab released him. Punjab released him, and then he went to GT this year. So
Yes.
they had Shah Rukh Khan for this exact role. They were not getting those results from him. So I think they probably thought that that let's look at somebody else. So they released him, and then they bought Shashank Singh for that role. And Shashank Singh, we have seen one or two good innings from him when he was at SRH. So and also let me point this out. So he used to play for Mumbai before. I think from 2015 onwards, he played for Mumbai a couple of years. So I've seen him in his younger days. He had a lot of talent. He used to clear boundaries. I have seen some of his batting in those early days, and I think the talent was there. But we were discussing about this when we were reviewing Punjab. I think I told you that I think they could have picked a right Shashank Singh. His scores in those Vijay Hazare Trophy, those look fantastic. The strike rate, everything was good. So I don't know why everyone was making that noise that maybe this is not the right guy. So in my opinion, that this was the right guy. This is the right guy,
Okay.
and they made a very good signing here. And 61 from 29 against not a lot of players can manage to do that against GT's bowling, because we know GT are a very strong bowling unit. Even without Mohammad Shami, I think they are still a very reliable unit, especially at the back end with Mohit Sharma. So this was a fabulous innings.
Yeah. I'm going to put my hand up and say that I didn't know anything about Ashutosh Sharma before this innings. So as soon as he came on and he started kind of turning the game around,
Yeah.
I quickly looked up his profile and found out that he plays for
Re-
Madhya Pradesh. And the thing that struck me the most about this innings of his were two things. A, he's got some brute power
yeah, yeah,
because some of those shots were not well-timed shots. that he was hitting, but they were still clearing the boundary. That
Yeah.
just shows me that even though the timing wasn't there, the force, the brute force that he
Yeah.
was hitting them with was something to behold. The second thing that I'd also like to point out, that in a situation like this, sometimes when you're coming in at number nine, eight. Sorry, he came in at number eight.
Yeah.
And there's a set batter on the other side. Most
Yeah.
people tend to take the single and try and get the other guy on strike and let him do the job and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the maturity that Ashutosh showed was, he said, this target is not going to be achieved if just one of us goes. This target
Yeah.
needs both of us to go. And I'm going to be the guy who's also going to help out my partner here. And he took it upon himself, played those big shots. In effect, I think it helped Shashank Singh because
Yeah.
he knew that the runs were coming from both sides, and it just made it like a dream. And as you can see, they needed seven of the last six balls,
Yeah.
which meant that in the end it turned out to be an easy run chase. Otherwise, we would have had the drama of probably having a 12 or a 14 run over or
Yes.
15 run over in the end.
Completely agree.
So yeah,
Yeah.
no, hats off to him, and and the decision making under pressure was just absolutely brilliant.
Yes, you rightly pointed out. There is a tendency to give the strike back to this set batter, to the designated finisher. But I think in his mind, I think he must be very clear that even he can finish the games. And this is the thing with these unknown players, that they just come and they start delivering. We are now seeing it on a very regular basis. Mayank Yadav, and now we saw Raghuvanshi doing it, Ankuresh Raghuvanshi, and now Ashutosh Sharma. It's very good that these guys are coming up and start doing their jobs right from the first game. It's very rare, and it's happening on a regular basis. So very good signs for Indian cricket.
I guess one last comment on this would be, all these guys come from domestic cricket, so we've got to tip our hat to the system that the BCCI has in place,
Yeah,
because what's happening is these guys are coming into the IPL and they're ready.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they're ready to deliver on the big stage, and it is only through the hard yards that they're doing in domestic cricket.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have visuals, we don't know about them. But maybe the BCCI, the next thing they need to do, they've got a fantastic domestic structure in place. The
Yeah,
next thing they need to do is kind of give it a few more cameras so that people can actually see these guys in action at the
yeah,
lower levels and already know about them when they're coming up.
yeah.
Um,
Completely
but
agree.
no, phenomenal. It was spine tingling. I was jumping up in joy in my lounge when I was watching it, and yeah, even my girls were interested because they were like, "Ooh, that's quite close." But anyway, talking about the GT bowling effort, let's talk about the good first. Noor Ahmed, he's coming to the side again. Foxed Johnny Bairstow today with his first delivery, bowled really well. Right at the end there, and my heart goes out to Darshan Nalkande. What is running through his veins? Because it's definitely not blood.
Yeah,
He's there in the team. He's there in the team for 39 overs, does
yeah.
nothing apart from field, comes in to bowl the 40th over, and almost snatches victory from the jaws of defeat for his side. Um, what a, what a tough ask on a regular basis for someone of his stature.
So, I mean, this is his role is something similar to what Yash Thakur does for LSG. These guys will bowl the middle overs, and then they'll directly come at the back end to bowl the difficult overs. We saw Yash Thakur doing this last season. Now this is his Vidarbha partner, Darshan Alkande, doing it for GT. But I think probably when somebody bowls for the first time in that 20th over, I think that's not the best time to come and bowl. But these guys are professionals. They practice this a lot. But I think probably he should have bowled 1 or 2 overs earlier. Probably it would have helped. But I mean, if you look at that bowling card, the probably 1 over instead of Azmatullah Omarzai, he probably could have bowled 1 over before, maybe 18th over. That could have made it some, because we all know that Azmatullah Omarzai, he's not the best of the death bowlers. We spoke about this before. That even in World Cup we saw that he was bowling well inside power play, but with the older ball he was getting tonked. So I think that one mistake I think has happened there. Probably Darshan Nalkande is a better fit to bowl 18th and 20th and instead of Umar Zai. So I think apart from that, I think we pointed out he was looking very calm, and he was bowling those bouncers. He had that confidence in him, and I think he's again a very good find. Last season he played for GT, and he's not a new to this team, but I think it's a very good find.
I think two things stand out in that bowling card is Rashid Khan going for 40 in
Yeah,
his 4 overs. That doesn't happen very often. And Mohit Sharma going for 38 in his
yeah,
4 overs. That doesn't happen very often either.
yeah,
And if you look, I think that could be the area where I think GT will feel that they've lost
yeah,
this game is because the economy rates of those two bowlers is never that high, which
yeah,
means they could have won this game quite easily had
yeah.
those two performed to their regular self. But hey, look, they're human and they are allowed
Yeah.
a game off every now and then. So I
But
think GT won't be
but
too
even if,
disappointed with this.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to point out. They won't be too disappointed because the score is 200. The target was 200 from 20 overs, so the required run rate was 10. And these guys have given runs at 10 runs per over. Mohit Sharma less than 10, and Rashid just about 10. So they haven't given anything in excess of what was required to the opposition. So I think even on their
Yeah,
bad days, they have done fairly decent job. Not they couldn't win it for their team, but I think it's not something which can be blamed on somebody. But I think you rightly pointed out uh, they still did a fair job there.
yeah. Right. So this result now um, does make some changes in the table. Um, we've got Punjab who had they lost today, and get this right, had they lost today, and they
Yeah,
at one stage it looked like they were going to have a big defeat. They would have been right down in the dumps along with Bengaluru, probably below Bengaluru also
yeah,
at number 8 or number 9. But the win now propels them to fifth place, just above the team that they beat in
yeah.
Gujarat. Both playing 4 games, both with 2 wins and 2 losses. Punjab's net run rate obviously a lot better. Gujarat had an absolute shocker against, was it Chennai, I think.
Yeah, huge
Yes,
loss.
was it
Chennai
huge
or
loss against
us?
Chennai.
Yeah,
I think Chennai 63-run loss or
yeah,
something it
yeah,
was
yeah.
against Chennai. So that is the reason why they are in fifth and sixth. Sarvesh, what have we got coming up tomorrow?
We have number 7 versus number 3, SRH versus Chennai tomorrow at Hyderabad.
Nice. SR is the team with all the ammunition to score either 270 one day, and when it doesn't work, they're down to 160 the next. So very temperamental team. But it's always fun watching them because you never know what's going to come out. So that'll be a good game. Chennai, obviously, a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
They had a bit of a blip
yeah.
in their last game,
Last game. Yeah.
but they would be looking to resurrect that and kind of, uh, keeping their position at the top of the leaderboard. They're
Yes.
playing in
Yeah.
Hyderabad.
Home game for Hyderabad. And we have been talking about not losing back to back games. So Chennai is a side, they have just lost a game, so they will look to bounce back and they'll look to win. Hyderabad as well, they know that they have to win this game because they have already lost 2 games. And if you look at that 5 to number 10 positions, all those teams have lost 2 games. So now we are getting in that territory where one win can put you in 2-3 slots above you. So we are in that territory right now.
Every single year, this is exactly what happens in this table. Is you'll have one or two people really stamping their authority on the tournament and being at the top of the table, and the rest is all stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
And as you said, one win here, one win there, one loss here, one loss there can really make a huge change to that table.
Yes.
Well, anything else to add, Sarvesh, before we sign off for today?
No, I think this was probably. I mean, we had KKR and SRS game, which went to which went to last over. SRS could not win that game, but I think it was a close game. But I think this is the highest run chase of this season, and it has come from Punjab. If you remember last season, Mumbai they chased down in excess of 200 against Punjab. So this team has already seen those heartbreaks, and now I'm glad they are coming out of it and they are doing it themselves. Because when you chase down a target of 200, it puts you in a better position mentally as well. So I think Punjab we can very well see them winning those close games in next few matches.
Perfect. On that note, let's sign off from the Snickometer podcast. The news from here is that Punjab picking up the points today against GT and also pipping them to get into fifth position on that leaderboard. We'll be back tomorrow to analyze everything that goes on between that game between Hyderabad and
Chennai.
and who and Chennai. Jeez, I'm losing my mind here. But you have to give it to me. I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. So Chennai versus Hyderabad tomorrow. We'll be back. Until then, keep watching, keep listening, keep sharing, keep liking. And we'd love to increase our subscribers on YouTube. So please do subscribe to the Sneakometer podcast channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.